Thank you very much, Abby. Okay, so let's get started. Now, before we start the presentation that I prepared for you today, I would like to just talk to you briefly about what we are doing. What we are doing now is called a synchronous meeting, a synchronous online meeting, or sometimes people call it a webinar, it's coming from a word seminar. And in a meeting like this, we typically have some different functions. If you can see my screen right now, I am sharing it. You can pause the sharing my screen, and you can share the webcam and the mic, and I can also share some videos, and we have the chat room. Some of you are already making use of this feature. And it typically also have some polling features too, and I can also allow some particular the participants to use the microphone, and so like what I did with Abby. And so it is very useful sometimes when you're traveling around the world, or some of you may at the end may decide to stay home and have teaching to be a part-time job, and so you may end up being an online teacher, and so this can be a good way for you to warm up to see how the 21st century online teacher can use a tool like this. And now I would like to do a little survey to see how many of you have done this before. And now this is something that you're familiar with. This is just poll everywhere. Let me make sure it is already online. I believe it is. Why don't you do a little bit poll? Okay, do a little poll now and tell me how many of you have done this type of synchronous online meeting before, and how many of you have not. Okay, so you can text Peter Chan to 22333, and once join, you can select A or B, or you can just go to this website. I bet most of you are using a laptop, and so can you see the poll? Oh, you still have an echo. Do you still have an echo? Do you have an echo? Oh, I wonder if it has to do with... Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Because I don't see you typing anything. But is there still an echo? Can you hear me clearly? It says the poll is not loaded. Okay, let me unpost it and post it one more time. Okay, can you check again to see if the poll is working now? Oh, good, it's working now. Thank you. All right, yeah, go ahead and do this poll. And now, the online meeting software that I'm using is called AnyMeeting. And the reason I'm using this one, there are many outside, like one that I have subscription to is called GoToMeeting. But the reason I'm using AnyMeeting is because it is free of charge for up to 200 people. But the free version we use has some advertisement on the side. And so for teachers, oftentimes, you don't want to pay anything. And so this may be an option for you. And so as long as you can bear with the advertisements. And it does have some poll features, but the poll features are not as good as poll everywhere, and that's why I'm using poll everywhere. And so looks like vast majority of you have never done a synchronous online meeting, and so this hopefully is an experience for you. Okay, then for this type of meeting, usually should come in a little earlier, like I did, and to set it up and make sure everything is working. So good. Now let's go back to our presentation today. Our presentation today is no wait before I continue. Um, it says that some people say that the echo is still on. Um, yes, Murphy is suggesting that everyone should mute your mic, and I have actually muted your mic already, and so it shouldn't be that bad. Let me make sure there are two Peter Chans here, so I just mute the other guy. So is this better? Is this better? Can you hear me clearly? Will you please type something? Can you all hear me? I'm not getting an answer. Hello, can you hear me clearly, Murphy? Okay, good. Yeah. Please respond to me. Okay, because I can't hear you, and so this is one disadvantage of an online meeting because I can't hear everybody immediately, and so you do need to type when you have something to say. Now, I am presenting to you something that I've been researching on for quite some time. I'll present it in a way that is very plain to you. And in the later part of the presentation, I do need you to participate to help me to understand, what you understand, and to find out whether this is helpful to you or not. Now, so I'm going to present it in just a few minutes, okay, using a method that is called TED. How many of you, well, let's see, I suppose many of you have already heard or seen a TED presentation before, and I have had been fortunate to give a presentation in TED before. It was a lot of fun. And a TED presentation typically is one way, and we try to make it short, make it interesting, and then you get a lot of ideas and many different topics. However, I would like to call our presentation today is as a TED Plus, because one disadvantage that I don't like about TED is that the audience has no opportunity to ask questions, and they don't really interact with the speakers that much. And so I want to provide this opportunity to you. And so in the first part of the presentation, I'll just present, okay? I'll give you my best shot. After that, I want you to participate in this online meeting. Now, problem solving is very important, because everybody face different types and different level of problems. And so, what is a problem? To me, a problem is basically it's just something or a situation that needs to be dealt with and improved. And so, what are some examples? Well, traffic jams. Some of you have experienced that before, or take a test when you're not prepared. If you're prepared for a test, that test is not a problem to you, right? Or sometimes we get heartbreaks too. Or in the other picture, it represents the teacher and parents meetings, and sometimes as educators, we may have difficulty in getting parents involved. And in education settings, of course, we face a lot of different problems. Now, these problems are problems when we are involved. Let's say the traffic the situation. If I am not in that country, apparently this is not Utah. If I am not in that country, then the traffic problems in that country doesn't bother me. And so problems always have a lot to do with whether you are involved in that situation or not. And today I'm sharing with you a model that will hopefully help you in whatever situation you're in, regardless whether in the classroom, in the general settings as college students, even in your family or maybe at church. And it is just a cognitive, a mental framework that hopefully will help you analyze and look at problems very, very quickly and be able to come up with some type of solutions. Now, I will look at different the professions. Every profession has problems, and so right here we see there are computer companies, fire departments, counselings, and in business, in medical, and even in the military. They have problems. And what is so interesting is that every profession has a problem-solving model. So in Microsoft, for example, as a computer company, it has this problem-solving model, and this is real. This is not something that I come up with. It is the problem-solving model published by Microsoft for Microsoft. And so in this model, it has this procedure. You discover what the real problem is first, and then you evaluate the system to see why the problem is happening and how it should be resolved. And then you come up with some solutions, and then you try to implement those solutions. You find out what are the possible solutions first, and then you come up with a plan to implement the solution, and then you check status. Check the result, evaluate. If the result works, okay, then you continue and take a proactive approach to implement that. If it does not work, then you go back to another solution and keep on trying until you can have that problem resolved. So this is the Microsoft model in solving a problem. And now try to remember this. At this model, at the heart of this model, there are only really 5 steps. Okay, these 5 steps, and then what this one is called the. Okay, let me use the pen. What this part is called is kind of a cycling system. So if it does not work, then you go back to this process. Okay. So now the fire department. Okay, and this model, problem-solving model, is provided by the Fire Management Society, and so all the firemen belong to this society, or many of them, and they have something similar in their problem-solving model. They have identifying the problem first, okay, prioritizing it, and after that you establish goals, and after that the goals relating to how to resolve that. You analyze the situation again. You set goals on how to what needs to be solved, and how to solve it, and how do you know when we are setting goals and objectives, oftentimes we attach it with assessments at the end, and so how these objectives will be measured so that we know these objectives are resolved. And then there's an action plan, and action plan is just like comparing to the Microsoft one. This is kind of like coming up with the solutions, different solutions, and then you implement those solutions. And after that, you monitor it, monitor the plans, kind of just like evaluating it, evaluating the plans, evaluating the results, and if it works, then you move forward. If it does not work, you come back to the problems and try to identify the problems and set goals to resolve that again. So that is in the fire fighting profession. Well, what about in counseling? Counseling has its model too. This model is called starts from identifying the problems, again identifying the problems, and then explore the solutions, set goals. In the fire industry they call it objectives, but set goals and objectives. Look at the alternatives. Just now with in Microsoft it says look at different solutions. In the fire departments they say okay, set a path on how to resolve these problems. And then you select it, okay, you implement, and then you implement it. And after that, you evaluate. If it works, you go on. If it does not work, come back, identify problems. Are you starting to see a pattern? Yeah, are you starting to see a pattern in these different problem-solving situations? And these are very different industries. The next one, management, okay. This is a model in in business management. Again, define the problem, identifying the problem, okay, or measure the problem, okay. So analyze it, understand what it is, set goals, objectives, and identify the causes, and select the best strategies, or sometimes we call it select the best solutions or path to move forward, and then you implement that and you evaluate the result. And if it works, then you have a large scale implementation, or in the organization of these changes, continued improvement. They have a celebration. Okay, well, yeah, sure, celebrate, bring the cookies, and if it works, move forward. If it does not work, come back and identify a problem again. Very similar to the previous models. And after that, in medical, even in medicine, okay, doctors use the same problem-solving model, identify a problem or frame the problem or describe the problem, okay, formulate solutions or hypotheses or rationales, okay, start the design, how you are going to assess the results, set goals and set objectives, and after that you narrow down the diagnosis and the rationale, which is in a different industry, it will be saying that it implements the solutions, monitors the solutions, and then after that reflect or evaluate. If it works, move forward. If it does not work, come back and look at the solutions again. Look at the problems again. Even in military, they have these 7 steps that are very similar to what we have done before. So what am I trying to get at? What I'm trying to get at is that regardless of what industry it is, even for teachers, we also have a model. In graduate school, you'll probably learn it. For education, that model is called action research. It also have this problem-solving process, and if you summarize them and simplify them, basically there are 5 steps. And the first step is called analyze. So what do we analyze? What do we mean by analyzing? We try to understand, okay, well, what's the problem? Is there really a problem? Okay, sometimes people bring up, says that there's a problem, but the problem may not be the real one. Okay, so what's the problem? Okay, like just now I mentioned traffic jam. Okay, if the traffic jam happens in Taiwan and you live in Utah, and that traffic jam is not a problem to you, okay? Or if you live in a place that people don't care, they have all the time in the world, and so traffic jam is not a problem. However, if we want to get someplace, then traffic jam is a problem. But what causes the What causes the traffic jam, and why is that the case? How long it has been? The nature of this problem, is one part of this analysis process. And then now some of these terms, if you haven't heard of them yet, you will later in your professional career, because these are very common management systematic analysis type of terms. Needs analysis is a very common term. Why do we need to solve this problem? Why is it important? Comparing to other priorities we have. What are the results? What are the results or outcomes if we don't resolve these problems? So, for example, recently the president yesterday announced some of these strategies that he is going to implement in gun control. Okay, there are lots of discussions on the internet. Some people saying that this is not a priority. Some people saying that this is a priority, and what are the needs relating to these problems that we have. And audience analysis, who are we dealing with? Who are the customers? There are always customers to every situation. Oftentimes when we use the term customer, we think of just buying and selling situations. But even at home, okay, when I try to like in my home, sometimes we have the problem of nobody doing the dishes. Okay, and in this case, I also have some audience, some customers that I need to deal with, including my kids, my wife, and so how what are their characteristics, and can I understand that and enough so that I can, when I devise a strategy, they will use it, okay, or what strategies they can come up with. Content analysis is that what is the actual type of content that you are dealing with. Is it a behavior problem? Is it a hardware problem, a software problem, a knowledge problem, a conceptual problem? What type of problem, is it? What type of contents are we dealing with? What are some of the tasks that need to be done? What's the context? Okay, the environment, and let's see, is it, are we dealing with a problem inside my house, at school, or in the society, in Utah or in Nepal, So these different environments also determines how the problem will be analyzed. But in this introductory presentation, what I would say is that you just need to remember one key. The key for the analysis process is just to find out, what you are trying to accomplish. What are you trying to accomplish? Really, and whom this is for, and how will you measure your success? How do you know at the end, you are successful? So sometimes we set, those goals and outcomes, objectives, so that we know at the end how we measure. Now, this is the first and also most important step in the problem solving the model, the process. And later on, I'll ask you how you implement this. Okay. The second step is design. Once you analyze, you know what the problem is, you come up with some solutions, you come up with some strategies, you come up with some designs. Don't just limit yourself to one. Oftentimes, people are very eager to jump directly from the design process to development process, because development is very, very interesting, very exciting. And that includes people in my profession, which is called instructional technology. So for example, recently I sit in the master's thesis defense of a student. And he devised a very good online learning system, for language, and very exciting. He went through a long 3-year process in developing this program. It looks very good. But then when I asked him, okay, at the end of using this program, you are trying to really see how much the learners have learned, right? So I asked him, okay, what are your learning outcomes? What are your objectives? What are your learning outcomes? And then how do you measure your learning outcomes? How do you know your learners are really learning? And so surprisingly, he hesitated, in answering that question. And I think one of the challenge like instructional developers have is that they are so excited about the development process. So sometimes they come directly in the into the programming, the designing of the interface, designing of the graphics, and they have not spent enough time in the designing process in trying to look at what are some of the objectives that we can consider before we we try to implement one particular the design. And so both design and development are important, and oftentimes designing is more important than the development. If you have a good design, then it is just a matter of finding a good execution team who can really put your design to work. And then the next one is implementing. You have to do the pilot testing and alpha testing, beta testing, to see if your solutions really work. In a home situation, sometimes, oftentimes, when people see a problem, they always just use one solution. And even if it does not work, they continue to use that one solution because it feels like it. That's the nature of human emotion. But if you can come up with several solutions, several strategies, and try to implement each one, then you know which one really works. And after that, you have to evaluate. And oftentimes, when people have problems and they come up with solutions, at the end they don't evaluate. They don't really know whether those strategies work or not. And like in my master's the thesis defense situation, and when I asked, okay, how have these learning outcomes been evaluated? there was some silence in there, and it is because sometimes we as instructional designers or developers, we are so excited about developing something, creating something. At the end, we didn't we don't spend enough time to find out whether these things work or not. Now, okay, so what you have seen right here: analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation. This is called the universal model of problem solving. This is the model that you can use in solving any type of problems. Okay, I dare say that. And if you can remember this process, it will be very helpful for you to be reminded of some of the things that you need to do. You need to evaluate, you need to analyze, you have to have multiple solutions, in the designing process. And so that kind of serves as a mental reminder for you. And so again, what's the universal model of problem solving? And let me show you the model. Ta-da! Okay, so can you see that on your screen? How come you're not seeing that yet? Okay, here you go. Okay, the universal model of this of problem solving. Okay, which of these two are the universal model? Well, they both are, because both of them are called ADDIE. Okay, and so the universal model of problem solving is ADDIE. A stands for analysis, D stands for design, second D stands for development, the I stands for implementation, implement, E represents evaluation. Okay, so remember ADDIE. All right, let me give you an example. This is real life shared by my friend who works in the military. So he is an instructional designer. One time he was called by the general to go in to the Air Force. These some of the senior officials, and they said, well, first of all, the official talked to him directly, individually. He said, right now we have a problem in training because we have this important process that the people, the staff must go through whenever they do this acquisition. But people are not going through this process, okay? And so we need to have a training video, okay? I have this much money. What he was told at that time is $300,000. I have $300,000. Go ahead and develop this video for us. You have 6 months. And my instructional designer friend says, hey, sir, but I really want to understand the problem more, And but then the general replied, we have no time. Go ahead and develop the video. And he said again, well, can we just even have 1 month? No time. What about 1 week? No time. And then eventually my friend says, okay, well, just give me 1 day. If 1 day I can sit down with some of the key players and do the analysis that is in the ADDIE model, we'll be able to find out a lot about what the problem is and how this video will help resolve this problem. Okay, and so finally the general says, okay, well, you have 1 day to spend with my staff. And so he get all the staff to sit down together in conference room, and they were able to talk very openly. At first, the people did not want to talk because the general was there. When the general left, then people start to talk more openly. My friend asked them, why are you not following this procedure that the military, the defense departments has told you to follow? At first, people say, oh, well, because it's difficult. Yeah, we are not really doing it because we don't know enough. And then my friend asked a little deeper. Are you really, do you understand, the importance of it? What happens if you don't need, you don't follow this procedure? Why are you not following? And then as he probed a little bit more, in about 45 minutes, people starting to talk about, what the real problem is. They say, yeah, Defense departments gave them this process that they have to go through. However, at the end of the day, their effectiveness, their promotion, how much bonus they get, or how much praises they get, it has nothing to do with following this process. If they just, these are acquisition managers. If they are able to acquire, what they need to acquire, following what they have always been doing, they will be able to get more done, and they will be able to acquire more, finish more projects, and then their salary, their bonus, their praises, their promotion are all tied to how effective, how efficient they are, and not whether they are following this procedure or not. And so by going through this analysis process, my friend quickly find out that if he spent all his time and all the money developing this video, at the end it will not improve the situation, because it is not because people don't understand how to do this process. It's because people are not willing to do this process, and because they are not rewarded by following this process. And when the general understand, this whole situation, he was like, oh, yeah, please forget about this video. And so for you and I, when we are faced with a problem, understanding the nature of that problem and what it is will make a big difference. Okay, now, so I have done lots of talking, okay, for 30 minutes. Now it is your turn. I want to know, what are your problems, okay, after hearing from me. So what are some of the problems that you are facing now? You can tell me, one or two, and it can be a personal problems or school problems or any type of problem. But I just want to learn about your problem. And then let's see, how do I get back to any meeting? Oh, no, not any meeting, but poll everywhere. Let's do a little poll again, okay? And so I'll go to my polls, and I'll go to here. Okay, so now go ahead and do a poll, and go to pollev.com/PeterChan and type some of your problems. Oh, boys, of course, yeah, boys are always a problem. Okay, family problems, sure, yeah. Not enough time to finish all the assignments. That seems to be the problem of college students, right? My daughter is in school too. Stress from work and school, very real. Okay, breakups again. It's boys or girls. Okay, balancing schoolwork, friends, and sleep. Yeah, it's low. Finding time to do everything. Yeah, these are you are starting to see a pattern, right? Having time to do everything, assignments, anxiety, poor time management. Yeah, time. Okay, time management. Okay, time management. Boys' health. Okay, good. Yeah, these are very real problems. I had those problems. I still have some of these problems too. All of it. Okay, learning rather than just getting stuff done. Okay, isn't it comforting to see, that other people share these same problems as you? School and planning a wedding at the same time. Oh, that's very demanding. Okay, really good. Well, thank you for sharing that. Finding time to do everything. Okay, good. All right, and we are starting to see some repetition. Okay, and our others shared some of these same problems. Okay, good, really good. Okay, well, thank you for telling me. Okay, now let me put you to task. Okay, let's go to our friend Eddie. Okay, now you go ask our friend Eddie, and how he can help you with your situation. Can you type right here how you think that Eddie can help you resolve your problem? Okay. Look at the problem you have now. You can write down, let's say, your time management issue. So much to do. Okay, if you you use the edit process. How do you resolve that? Okay, let me give you a little example. Okay, if you say, okay, schoolwork is your problem because you have so little time, so much work to do. Okay, let's go through the analysis process. If the analysis process is first like what's the nature of the problem? The nature has to do with the workload that you have, and also the limited time that you have, and the different obligations that you have, right? Okay, so in that case, you will need to look at, okay, you can either reduce your load or increase your time, or better use your time, okay, or better handle your load, no, or those type of things. And then if you can set the objectives, the outcomes, and you'll be able to understand your problems more clearly, and then you come up with some solutions and implement those solutions. What is so interesting is that um, I don't know whether you have heard of the saying, if you have a teacher who has been teaching in a school for 30 years, you can say that this is a teacher with 30 years of experience. But sometimes in reality, you can have a teacher who has 1 year of experience repeated 30 times. That means this teacher has never learned. So what that means that applied to us is that sometimes if you don't think of strategies, we keep on repeating same problem over and over and over. What my son will say is that, yeah, you may not grow up, but you can still grow old. Just because you're growing old, not doesn't mean that you're growing up. You sometimes you meet adults who are like that, who don't seem to have mature in their thinking, and so um, okay, now so let's look at some of the comments here. Develop a plan to win my boyfriend back. That is my 2016 resolution. Very profound. Okay, ha ha ha. Okay, go for it. I'll need to analyze how I currently use my time and find where I waste my time, and then decide a plan, okay, to eliminate time-wasting activities and implement and evaluate. Perfect. This is perfect example. Now, what I would say is that you can, actually try to do a log. It will be very revealing, to you. I think if you can just do the normal things, you don't need to change anything, but try to do a log, for 1 day. Just log down everything that you do, how much time you spend, from what time to what time you spend, and then at the end look at that schedule to see where your time goes. That would be very interesting to find out. Okay, and prioritize, recognize which problems are actually worth addressing, and which to address and stop stressing about. Very good, very good. Decide development schedule of how to get things done. Okay, yeah. Keep a schedule too. Yeah, and now one thing that I have noticed in college students is that very often time they often do, to urban people, oftentimes one of the greatest source of stress is coming from the term what we call cognitive load. Cognitive means the brain. Load, it means load, and that means that I have to keep a lot of things in the mind, and so that's how I become very stressful. If I have like 10 things that I need to do, I try to remember those 2 things. It's extremely stressful. A human brain probably cannot handle 10 things at the same time. It stresses you out. So what you do is that you write it down. Okay, I used to use Franken Planner, but nowadays I just use my cell phone. Okay, I just use my cell phone. I have an app called ZZ Task, also developed by Franken Covey, and I just write down all the tasks that I need to do and prioritize them. And once I see, the 10, 15 things that I need to do right there, then I what I'm doing is that I put my cognitive load, shift it to a machine like this. Then my brain won't feel so stressful, because now if I need to know what I need to do, I just go back to my phone and look at the task list. Okay, and then you feel like, okay, I can handle it. Create a plan, draw it out beautifully, take it to me everywhere. Very good, very good design plan. Okay, I will help my boyfriend get that boy. Wait, okay, I'll help my friends get their boys' friends back. Okay, work as a team. Yeah, teamwork, people. Get those boys. All right. Analyze my bias about my stressor. Very good. Give my thoughts positive. Focus on reality. Very good. Very good. Okay. These are very good thoughts. Analyzing the results. This time come up with a plan. So, okay. Excellent. Excellent. I love where you are getting at, and I love some of these comments that you're coming with. I think you are seeing the value of this plan, and so now to me, I am still working on my book. I've been so busy, and so I don't know when this book will come out. But I like to write more about this universal model of problem solving. It is actually a model that not I have invented, but it is actually a model that the people in instructional design have used a lot. But they only look at this as an instructional design model. But I always try to tell my friends, actually, it is not just an instructional design model. It is really a problem-solving model because I see it in every industry. People use the same model over and over again. What it tells me is that it is just a universal model that anybody can use in any situation. And so today, this assignment is, okay, let me go to our class website and show you. Today, our assignment is to just go and identify and describe an example, a situation or matter in which the universal model was applied and its result. So I'm not talking about like something that you hypothetically think that okay, it can happen, but I'm talking about something that has already happened or is happening. Okay, it can be your problem, it can be your friend's problem. You can and that's how somebody has used some components of the ADDIE model in resolving this situation and tell me the results. Alternatively, you may also identify and describe a non-example, okay, in which the model was not used and then its results, okay, what disasters have happened. And your example should describe how the 5 elements of ADDIE, have been applied or not. It may come from your personal experience, other people's experience, or other cases, news, books, scriptures, wherever, conference talks and other resources. They should be authentic, meaningful, and thought-provoking. The quality of the story, will be graded. The example, should be at least 3 paragraphs. So what I'm basically saying is that it doesn't need to be long. Okay, you decide how long it is. And then the place you post it is you create a new tab under number 8, reflection and continuous growth, and write down create a little page, a new page called problem solving. On top of the new page, give a short description of the universal model of problem solving. Describe the ADDIE model. It can be just 1 or 2 sentences, okay? Because again, you want these websites to be your portfolio so that when people come in most people have no idea what ADDIE model is, and you describe it so that people can understand, and then you describe a case, a story, how this model has been used or have not been used and the result. Okay, that's your assignments for this week, and I hope you have find this presentation helpful to you in some ways. And I also hope that the first experience of an online synchronous meeting is a successful, positive experience to most of you who have never done it before. And so in this semester, I wish you success. In the next in the future weeks, we'll continue to have the lab sessions like in the past, in the past, and in the next 2, not next see. Yeah, in the next 2 weeks, next Thursday. However, I will not be here physically in the lab. My father passed away just before the Christmas, 2 days before the Christmas, and so I need to go to Hong Kong to help with the funeral. And but Murphy will be here, to help you. And I will also check the email. If there's any problem, you can email me, and the assignments will still be posted in the class websites like in the past. Okay, and good luck with everything, and I look forward to reading about your problems. Okay, thank you. By the way, I'm here in my lab in the IP&T departments. If you need to see me, come on over.